It's a farm journal for January 10th, 2020. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Serene Disciple Project at Egret Isle Farm. So I've been watching the skies for the last several days and the National Weather Service forecast, and all of the signs and portents point to, in the National Weather Service forecast, point to big storms tonight. For the last 48 hours, it has been growing windier from the south and much more muggy and humid and warm. The atmosphere is just charged, and today the winds are roaring from the south. This is the Gulf of Mexico roaring to the north to do battle with the Arctic coming in the other direction. And the line of battle will form up in the hill country up northwest of here, and then slowly that front line in that war will push back toward the Gulf. And the front line of battle will be right here on the farm about 8 o'clock tonight. So first order of business today is to get the farm ready for the storms that are surely coming. Now, the strong winds, which are probably coming, I could do without, and the golf ball size hail, which is maybe coming, I could certainly do without. But what I do hope the storm brings is great big buckets load of water, because the farm is parched. This is what I call the duck pond, and 6 months ago it was a pond. I call it the duck pond because normally from about November through about March, this pond is the home of dozens and dozens of wild ducks which spend the winter here. But not this winter, because back last fall, when the normal fall rains would come to replenish the land after the long, hot, dry Texas summer, well, this fall the rains never came. No rain, no pond. No pond, no ducks. Let me show you something else. This is the main pond. Still plenty of water, but few ducks. Not being as secluded and sheltered, the wild ducks have always preferred the duck pond, but there are fewer ducks here as well because the ducks feed in the muddy roots of the aquatic vegetation. But this year, those reed beds are a good 20 feet from the water, and because clay soil gets rock hard when dry. So even if they left the water to waddle up there to feed, the soil around the roots is like concrete. There are no aquatic bugs either. No rain, and the aquatic buffet is closed. The ducks press on. Well, let's go on out to the island. Now, you can see the normal watermark, which is about right there on that post piling. And so we are missing about 5 vertical feet of water. And that works out for the size of this pond to be about 6.5 million gallons. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is, but this pond drains an area upstream of several thousand acres. So let's see, 1 inch of rain on the 3,000 or so acres that this pond drains comes to about 81 million gallons. Now, of course, not all of that will run into the pond. In fact, most of it won't. But I have seen this pond fill from this level up to just under the bridge right there and flowing over the spillway over there in one evening. And it could happen tonight. That would be exciting. Now, there are several interesting things that I wanted to show you, but I realized this morning that those might be underwater by this time tomorrow. So we better get them now while the getting's good. Here's the first one. This is the island that gives Egret Isle Farm its name. In the summer, this little island is covered in hundreds of white cattle egret. About half of the island is covered in a single beaver lodge, like a beaver condominium. Now, beavers also eat, among other things, the roots of the aquatic plants. They're having the same problem as the ducks on the main pond. And here's their solution. This is the track they have worn traveling from the main pond to a smaller nearby pond to harvest reeds. But how do the beavers get in and out of the lodge? It doesn't have any doors. Well, actually it does, but they're underwater. Well, normally they're underwater. This lodge has multiple doors. With the water level down, now we can see that the beavers have excavated several tunnels through the island itself that all lead to the lodge from underneath. So the reality is that the whole island is a beaver lodge. A whole beaver village. And then there are these, our very own hunger stones. What are hunger stones? Well, hunger stones are found in the rivers of several European cities, and they're only visible during times of severe drought. They bear various carved messages, but the one I find most chilling is, "If you see me, weep." You see, in antiquity, if the stones were visible, then the crops had likely failed and famine was either ongoing or just around the corner. Truly a time to weep. Now, we discovered these stones a couple of years ago when the pond was equally this low. And I think that it's the top of a concrete retaining wall. How deep does it go? Does it extend more around the island than what I can see here? I don't know. Maybe if tonight's storms don't yield much rain and the pond continues to drop, I'll find out. Well, it started to rain a little bit and the wind is howling. Let's go ahead and go inside. Now, the last time we were in a season of drought, before the stones became visible, I was worried. Every time I looked at the pond and how much it was dropping, I worried. Well, what if the pond dried up completely? What would happen to the wildlife in the pond with the pond getting so low? And what if, well, and so on. And then, inch by inch, those stones became visible. And I took comfort. I suppose because of the same reasons that the European river hunger stones brought comfort to those, and that is that this has happened before. There were others who have walked this path, and those communities went on. The rains came, the drought ended, and seasons of plenty followed. And these stones, my hunger stones, comfort me. Seasons are not permanent. Seasons of difficulty come, and then they go, and they are replaced by seasons of plenty. Others have been here before. One of the side gigs I have is that I'm a certified spiritual director. I'll put a link below explaining what that means if that term is new to you. But I often have spiritual direction conversations here on this porch, and it's not unusual for me to be talking with a person who is in a season of drought, either spiritually or emotionally. And often I refer to the hunger stones right out there, usually underwater, and talk about the seasonality of life. Now, I don't know what season you're in. I don't know if your hunger stones are showing or not, but I'll bet you know what I mean. Take heart. Whether you're walking through a season of drought or a season of plenty, seasons always change. And if you're walking through a season of drought right now, watch for the appearance of the stones, whatever shape or form they may take. Wow. I think this season is about to come to an end. The rains are coming. Well, I think that's enough for today. We'll see you next time. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and give. Hey, Ned, you see the new guy? Does he strike you as a little different? I mean, I've seen ugly ducklings, but wow.